Hey, what's going on YouTube? G11 here, back at it again. And today I want to talk about something that's really been reoccurring in my feed for about a week now. Of course, within another week it'll be out of the loop or the algorithm, if you will, right? But this is something that keeps coming up, and I guess I wanted to give my opinion on it just because it seems to be quite prominent. Basically, for those of you who all have been living under a rock, in New York recently, there was an incident in the subway where you had one victim choked out by I guess he's a current Marine, former Marine. I'm not really sure. But essentially, there's a video that's out there that actually shows the choking part. I feel like there's a lot of context missing in this case, but the death of this guy, Jordan Neely, is causing quite an uproar. People are protesting, and the issues about mental health or mental illness have become the forefront of this discussion with this incident. And here's my thing, right? I used to live in the city of Philadelphia when I was growing up, and I used to take SEPTA all the time. So SEPTA is the name for the transportation company, like the city company. And they had trains, buses, trolleys, all that kind of stuff. And from time to time, when you ride public transit in a packed town or packed city like that, you're gonna see crazy stuff. And generally speaking, most of the time they really uh don't mess with you unless you mess with them. If someone's not in their right mind, I mean, right? They won't hit you. They'll say things to you. They'll get very close to you. They might stink. They might say some off the wall banana stuff. However, generally speaking, these individuals who are doing this type of stuff won't physically touch you. So I think it is a little odd that this guy decided to take it upon himself to handle the situation, if you will, right? Um, Now, the other side of this coin is about Mr. Jordan Neely. Apparently, there's different reports coming out depending on which side, you have the right wing and the left wing. But, one side is trying to really push the victim narrative harder. Now, make no mistake, he is a victim in this. He was killed. However, they're trying to say, he's arrested. Um, he's arrested 40 times prior, 40 misdemeanors, right? Something like that. He had suffered from mental illness due to the passing of his mother. His life kind of spiraled out of control, and then he's been homeless for a little bit, right? So there is that side of the equation too. And you have his family coming out and discussing all that. My thing is this is really, 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 in my opinion, it seems to be getting blown way out of proportion for what actually happened. Now, this essentially is a manslaughter case. There's no question about it. This guy took it up to 100 and decided to kill this guy, right? For those of you who may practice a martial art or have any kind of background in self defense and dealing with like choke holds or jujitsu holds and anything like that, you hold it. You're only supposed to hold it for a certain period of time, and then when the person becomes unresponsive, you let go. But from what I saw in the video, he held on. It seemed like it was like 2 minutes almost, right? 2 or 3 minutes. And essentially you're cutting off oxygen to that person's brain, and when your brain is starved of oxygen, you die. Plain and simple. So I don't really, I don't understand why he decided to hold it that long. Now, I don't believe this is a race issue, a black white deal, but the media is going to spin it that way. I think this was just a case of a guy deciding to be a vigilante, take things into his own hands, and he took it too far. And now this is becoming a major talking point with the city of New York, where they're talking about mental health. So I'm gonna pull up this article from the Insider that talks about it a little bit. Check it out. After the killing of Jordan Neely, New York City Mayor Eric Adams faces backlash over his approaches to subway safety and mental illness. This is just one view on it, right? Let's go down to the article. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is facing renewed criticism from progressive Democrats over his policies regarding public safety and mental illness after Jordan, nearly a 30-year-old homeless man, was choked to death on the subway last Monday. Adams, a former police officer and former state lawmaker who ran on a tough on crime platform during his successful 2021 mayoral campaign bid, came into office seeking to overhaul the city's approach to homelessness and public safety. Last year, he laid out a plan to remove homeless individuals from the subway and directed law enforcement and emergency medical workers to involuntary hospitalize individuals deemed to be in psychiatric crisis. So essentially, he pushed. Well, actually, I don't even think this is policy, but this was his plan for the homeless people and people in a mental crisis. Such measures were applauded by many who felt that the status quo and approaching quality of life issues in New York City wasn't working, but some felt the steps, which included sweeps of homeless encampments, went too far and infringed on the rights of homeless individuals who were distrustful of staying in the city shelters and had no other recourse for housing. Neely's death has now placed an even brighter spotlight on Adams' policies regarding homelessness, which the mayor defended during a press conference last Thursday. This is what highlights what I've been saying throughout my administration. He said the Neely incident, people who are dealing with mental illness should get the help they need and not live on the train. And I'm going to continue to push on that. Now, here's my thing with that. How, like, where do you draw the line? Because it almost sounds like a police state with this involuntary deal, people in psychiatric crisis. I think when it comes to this topic, people have to be willing to get the help. Because generally, when you see people like that or people who have gotten to that point, they have refused help. I know many, 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 many times. I know people personally, I know myself, who have gone through trauma or had some type of situation where they needed to get access to be treated for a mental illness, right? And the problem is they won't acknowledge that they have a problem. You know what I'm saying? So even when you involuntarily put people, take them off the street and try to force them into treatment, it will only work once they come to the realization that yes, I do have a problem. Yes, I do need help, and they actually seek the help. So I don't know if his plan will work, and it does kind of cross that line of people's rights. Granted, homeless are kind of a plague on the city, no matter where you are. They just generally speaking, when you have a huge homeless problem, it does bring the city down overall. So I don't know. All the protests, I don't even know what the protests really hope to solve in this situation. I think it's all getting blown up out of proportion. Everything is on 100. I think we have an unfortunate situation where you do have a guy who, had a downward spiral, needed help, probably didn't seek the help, and ended up in a situation where this dude unfortunately claimed his life. And he's going to go to jail for a period of time now because he decided to do that, right? But I don't know. It's just not good. And this has been happening for quite some time now, right? There's situations just like this that keep happening over and over and over again. It seems like every month almost there's something new. A few weeks ago we talked on the channel about people getting shot just for going on the wrong porch. Like this is getting a little bit out of hand. Let me know what you guys think. It's a very unfortunate situation. You think that the city of New York can solve for the issue? Do you think this is just on 100 constantly? Let me know what you think down below. Subscribe if you like the content. I'm out of here. See you guys on the next one. Peace.